Tonight, political fists fly from wings spread to wings clipped. The state government's bid to land Virgin triggers a turbulent slinging match. Our darkest of days, nearly 600,000 Aussie jobs gone in the coronavirus pandemic, and it's only going to get worse. Pull your weight. Beijing's advice to Australia's calls to China continue to go unanswered amid mounting trade tensions. Digging in, Cross River Rail moves full steam ahead under the heart of the city. And political football, the goalposts shift again, shoring up the southeast as an AFL hub.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. The future of Virgin Australia has triggered an all-out war between the state and federal governments. Anastasia Palaszczuk is putting her money where her mouth is to try to secure a stake in the crippled carrier, but it's prompted a blistering attack from federal MPs who've slammed the proposal as an economic disaster.
When it comes to political plays, they don't get much bigger than this.
And it's not the intention of the Queensland Government to purchase the airline in its entirety. But we want to take a strategic stake.
Virgin Australia is in voluntary administration, saddled with $7 billion of debt and 90% owned by foreign interests. But the Treasurer wants in.
We're going to strike a very hard bargain. Foreign banks and foreign bond holders, they're going to have to take a haircut out of this. They're going to have to pay a price.
$200 million is already on the table with strings attached. The airline's base must remain in Brisbane and regional routes must keep flying.
And now that I have become the Treasurer, I've got a whole range of other artillery available to me, other than bazookas, and I'm not afraid to use that.
Around 20 bidders are believed to be interested in the embattled airline. The state government hasn't ruled out working with other parties. The Queensland Investment Corporation will devise and manage the proposal.
I know it's not my money, it's other people's money. It belongs to Queenslanders.
The Treasurer says the government has a pretty good idea of the financial position of the airline, but he doesn't know what Virgin Australia is worth in its current state.
Probably somewhere between 600 million and $1 billion, depending on the exact final level of the debt.
The federal government won't be offering any support. The Prime Minister shooting down the plan.
Well, I'm not going to buy into that.
This is nothing more than a populist brain fart.
I cannot understand for the life of me how people don't want to back Queensland and back Queensland jobs.
And it didn't stop there. Peter Dutton took to Twitter last night, unleashing on Anastasia Palaszczuk. In the middle of a crisis, they want to buy an airline. It is laughable. She leads a government which is corrupt and chaotic. The Treasurer fired back. Look, mate, just stick to cruise ships. A reference to the Ruby Princess.
They can't run trains on time. How are they going to run an airline?
I mean, I can't be distracted by the game playing of Peter Dutton.
Time is ticking. Tomorrow, the bidders who put their hat in the ring will be revealed.
And John Paul Gonzo joins us now from Virgin HQ. JP, where to from here?
Well, Georgie, all eyes are now on tomorrow. That is when we will know who is in that first round of bidders. It will give us a better understanding of the playing field to see who is interested in owning a share of Virgin Australia and who is actually serious about it. The Treasurer isn't ruling anything out. He says everything is on the table. We could see Queensland join forces with another bidder depending on the strength of other proposals. We know 5,000 Queenslanders are employed by Virgin Australia. Their jobs hang in the balance tonight. Those employees will be watching and waiting to see the outcome of tomorrow and hopefully get some clarity on what the future of this airline looks like. Georgie?
Thank you, John Paul, there live with the latest. We knew it was coming, but today will still go down as a dark day for our nation. Nearly 600,000 Australians have now lost their jobs because of COVID-19, and that's only a fraction of the horror story.
The bad news we knew was coming.
This is a tough day for Australia, a very tough day. Almost 600,000 jobs has been lost. Every one of them devastating.
In just 1 month, the unemployment rate has gone up a full 1%.
Terribly shocking, although not unanticipated.
Underemployment has risen sharply. as employers take advantage of new laws allowing businesses to reduce the working hours of their employees, up from 4.9% to a whopping 13.7%.
We knew there would be hard news as the pandemic reaps its impact on Australia.
Young people have been hit hardest. Youth unemployment rose by more than 2% to 13.8%. The participation rate fell 2.5%, the biggest fall since records started back in 1978. 500,000 Australians not even looking for work and therefore not included in the unemployment rate. If they were, it would already be nudging 10%.
And clearly the JobKeeper program has been incredibly effective.
If it wasn't for JobKeeper, we might be staring down the barrel of a 20% unemployment rate, rivaling the tragedy of the Great Depression.
6 million Australians have been supported at their worst moment.
Labor wants the government to do better, baring its teeth.
Aren't more Australians out of work today because the Prime Minister deliberately excluded them from the JobKeeper wage subsidy?
It doesn't take long, Mr Speaker, for the white-handing to begin.
How much shorter would unemployment queues be today if the government had implemented the JobKeeper wage subsidy earlier and included more groups, including casuals?
Well, Mr Speaker, it's a joke getting a question about jobs from the member who was going to saddle Australians with the highest tax to GDP ratio in the history of the Commonwealth.
The attacks make it easier to understand why the Prime Minister didn't want Parliament to sit during the coronavirus crisis. But that's not how democracy works, especially not a parliamentary democracy like ours. Under pressure, the coalition finally agreed to Parliament coming back mid-next month, by which time the next set of unemployment figures are expected to paint an even grimmer picture.
And Peter joins us from Canberra. So when do things start to get better?
Wow, that really is a tough question because it could well be years and many years potentially before things actually start to get better. They're going to get a lot worse before they even start to get better. Yes, the unemployment rate went up by 1%, nearly 600,000 people added to the jobless queue, but 500,000 people aren't even looking for work, and many millions of people are only still in work because of the JobKeeper program. Before we can even hope that things get better, we have to hope they don't get worse whenever the time comes when the government gets rid of the JobKeeper package.
Thank you, Peter, in Canberra. China is continuing to ignore Australia's attempts to discuss growing trade tensions over beef and barley imports. Senior politicians are calling for calm, but Beijing's foreign minister says Australia needs to pull its weight and do more in the relationship.
As Australia tries to dial down the diplomatic thermostat.
I'm in the throes of attempting to reach out to my counterpart in China.
Has your counterpart responded to you?
Not yet.
The United States continues to turn up the heat.
U.S. officials say Chinese hackers were already focused on the United States, trying to steal research from universities and pharmaceutical companies that were working on a cure.
The Chinese for years have targeted biomedical research, and there's nothing more important than COVID-19 research right now in that field.
China is so far ignoring Australia's attempts to discuss growing trade tensions over beef and barley.
但这需要双方的共同努力。
Publicly, its foreign minister says a sound and stable relationship is in the common interests of both countries, but that requires a joint effort, and Australia needs to meet Beijing halfway.
The great thing about sovereignty is we always respect the sovereignty of other nations, and we simply expect the same in return, and I think that's a pretty fair deal.
The relationship has been strained since the Prime Minister began pushing for a global inquiry into the origin of COVID-19.
This is dangerous speculation. We've got to be calm and methodical about this.
Labor regards these issues as being separate.
But that hasn't stopped some in Labor from accusing the Morrison government of mishandling Australia's relationship with its largest trading partner in order to win favour at home.
Well, I don't think that's a serious criticism. The government's done nothing more than stand up for our values.
When it can get someone to return their calls.
We're going to keep doing everything we possibly can, and that's the approach we'll take.
Tegan George for 10 News First.
The Cross River Rail project has officially gone underground with the start of tunnelling for the first new station. It paves the way for more jobs at a time when the economy is hemorrhaging.
18 metres below the surface, work is ramping up. The Roma Street site first on the list.
Copy that, all clear.
In what will be one of 4 underground stations.
This will be the beginning of what will be 5.9 kilometres of underground rail stations and tunnelling for our city.
A big step forward in the $5.4 billion Cross River Rail, which will link Dutton Park to Bowen Hills.
Fundamentally, this is about jobs. Over 7,000 jobs, over 200 jobs on this site alone.
At a time when the government is desperate to get Queenslanders back to work.
It is a really sobering thought when you think about the number of people who currently in this state do not have jobs through no fault of their own.
The latest figures today show just under 130,000 Queenslanders have been left without work since the shutdown. A huge number, but slightly better than what Treasury had forecast. The state's unemployment rate increased by just over 1% to 6.8. That's the second highest in the country, behind South Australia.
Queensland has on average before the coronavirus had the worst and the highest unemployment rate, and there's little doubt that that will continue, unfortunately.
The national reports are very clear that we are expecting this to get worse.
But it all depends on how the state continues to recover, beginning this weekend for many businesses digging for light at the end of lockdown. Claire Barnes for 10 News First.
A father of 2 who died after being stabbed has been remembered as a wonderful dad and best friend. Stephen Fife suffered a single stab wound after a fight broke out at a Waterford West unit block. Police say the attack was sparked by an argument between the 32-year-old and another resident just after 8 last night. Mr Fife was taken to hospital but died a short time later. A 45-year-old man has been charged with murder. One of Australia's most wanted is tonight behind bars in Sydney. A major manhunt for Ricardo Barbaro has been underway for more than a week after the body of his girlfriend was found in her Melbourne home.
Are you a killer, Ricardo?
Wanted for murder, 33-year-old Ricardo Barbaro, now in the back of a police van on his way back to Melbourne.
Did you kill Ellie, Ricardo?
This after his dramatic arrest by New South Wales police at a Wentworth Point penthouse where he'd allegedly been staying with a woman.
They were wearing all black. I think they had a rifle, had some night vision goggles, and yeah, they were just outside. It's crazy.
I could hear a lot of noise coming from one of the apartments. The door was being banged into all the time.
Barbaro's lawyer said he was willing to surrender peacefully and while being arrested has received some significant injuries. Ricardo Barbaro had been on the run from Victorian police for the past 10 days. Homicide detectives had wanted to speak to him about the murder of his on-again, off-again girlfriend, 26-year-old mum Ellie Price. Her body was found in her South Melbourne townhouse on May 4, beaten and with her throat cut. But Victorian police believe she could have lain there dead for up to a week. A nationwide manhunt for Barbaro led police to this apartment block in Sydney's Wentworth Point last night after a tip-off.
They started calling out to this person by the name of Ricardo. Ricardo, listen to what we're telling you. You won't be harmed.
Ricardo is the younger brother of the slain Sydney gangster Pasquale Barbaro, who was shot dead in Earlwood in Sydney's inner west in 2016.
Barbaro spent last night and most of today in the cells below here at Burwood Police Station before being transported to Silverwater, where the Victorian homicide detectives were waiting for him for that long drive back to Melbourne.
Ricardo Barbaro is expected to arrive there sometime tomorrow and should be back in court this weekend. Steve Hart for 10 News First.
The South East Queensland AFL hub is looking more certain by the day if the competition is to return in June. Teams from Adelaide and Perth are looking for a new home as hardline border restrictions look set to stay.
Sunshine and empty resorts all to themselves. What more could an AFL club want?
Our preference is to be in Queensland, if anywhere.
So we're going to have to work through whatever that looks like from here.
We'd be very open to that, very open.
Let's grab it boots and all. This is a magnificent opportunity for the state to be promoted, for the city to be promoted.
And it now seems some interstate teams have no other choice. The South Australian government refusing to budge on its border restrictions and compulsory quarantine rules overnight. Today, WA followed.
We've said to the AFL that our hard border arrangements will remain intact and they will need to comply with those.
It means a joint southeast Queensland hub could house as many as 4 interstate sides, as well as the Lions and Suns.
The opportunity to market Queensland and to use it as a platform for our tourism industry in a post-COVID era, well, you can't put a price tag on that.
To get southeast Queensland going again, we have to remind people that, particularly in the Melbourne or Sydney winter, this is a pretty good place to come and visit.
Though it's unlikely any of the 10 Victorian clubs will be putting their hands up to enter an interstate hub.
And it seems to me they're a little bit pampered and they should be prepared to do the hard yards and go somewhere else to hub, as our clubs are prepared to do.
The Gabba is the holy grail for Lions fans and players, but soon there could be matches here where they're not involved at all. But clubs do need some clarity from the AFL, who are yet to make their plans public.
I think everyone's in a position where we would prefer to know sooner rather than later. This is just one delay after another.
I think it's a pretty lonely existence on a weekend, and if we can play our part in getting life back to normality, well, we should.
June 11 was the AFL's preferred return date. Now that also looks certain to be pushed back. Josh McLean for 10 News First.
Coming up, bail fail Melbourne's Porsche driver to remain behind bars. Also, the motorist on a dangerous collision course north of Brisbane. Plus later, why our love of caffeine could be killing us. And in sport, it's D-Day for the Titans anti-vaxxers. Will they get their flu shot?
International megastar. She's been singing our theme tune for 12 years. It's Katy Perry.
Me and my unborn child are ready to eat. You better make my baby cake.
Oh, delicious. This is gonna give you that hit. Katy Perry rocks up. And she tastes my render.
Oh yeah, I can feel that.
Have I put in too much spice?
Who's trying to kill me? Literally.
Can we get a glass of water, please?
Katy Perry rocks MasterChef, 7:30 tonight.
Avocado, avocado don't. Avocado, avocado don't. Avocado, avocado don't. Aldi's Fresh has avocados. Do or don't. Aldi. Good, different.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get $4 odds for either Gitra or Santa and Elaine to win the Goodwood. PointsBet.
With Light and Easy, you can still enjoy a huge variety of delicious, healthy meals in the comfort and safety of your home, thanks to their chefs and dietitians and their contactless delivery service. In fact, Light and Easy has recently been rated Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service, scoring 5 stars for customer satisfaction, as well as taste, variety and freshness, all things you'll find on their autumn menu. Enjoy delicious, healthy meals with Light and Easy's contactless, award-winning delivery. Order today.
Even though we need to stay inside, we can still keep moving. Even when you're not outside, you can still move like you are. Because even when spaces are limited, you can still move without limits.
From home time to sleepy time, IKEA designs around life's precious moments. So make mess, mohawks, and laugh until your belly hurts. Because with IKEA, there really is no place like home.
Do it, baby. It's on, baby.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse runs second, third, or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Rose Hill, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
This is a Nature Valley checklist. Whole grain oats? Yes. Artificial colours and flavours? No. Delicious ingredients? Yes. Preservatives? No. Big taste? Yes. Nature Valley. Get more out.
Sandra Oh and Stanley Tucci join Graham Norton for a night of 5-star fun.
I've got goosebumps.
8:30 Friday on 10.
Good afternoon. Well, plenty of showers and storms making their way in from the west, stand up from the south as well. Up to the northern side of town, we've got these ongoing roadworks on Deception Bay Road coming through Rothwell, right in the middle of the road there, but traffic moving through A-OK. Got a bit of a busy run coming up the Gateway, just from Deagon up towards Brackenridge and onto the Bruce Highway, back around Nudgee, not doing too badly, and plenty of traffic on Gympie Road heading up through Kedron, up through Chermside, not too bad. A little bit slow here at Beams Road in Castledine. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Australian Pork and Georgie. I'll check the roads again for you later in the bulletin. Meantime, back to you.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Dave. A quick-thinking truckie has stopped an erratic driver in his tracks. The van was filmed swerving across lanes on the Bruce Highway at North Lakes during peak hour this morning. Crisis was averted when a truck nudged the vehicle into a concrete barrier. Police arrested the van driver, who was taken to hospital for drug and alcohol testing. Charges are yet to be laid. The Porsche driver at the centre of Melbourne's freeway tragedy will remain locked up. A magistrate found Richard Pusey's poor driving history, mental health and substance abuse posed too much of a risk to set him free.
Behind bars until a committal hearing next year, Richard Pusey was denied bail 2 days after his lawyer made a bid for his freedom.
Look, I don't think I want to make any comment if that's okay.
Vincent Peters argued Pusey met bail requirements and pointed at holes in the prosecution's evidence. Magistrate Johanna Metcalf accepted there are potential legal issues in relation to the charge of failing to render assistance, nor was his vehicle responsible for the collision. On the allegations, Pusey filmed and taunted a dying police officer moments after the Eastern Freeway tragedy. Mr Pusey is not charged with any offences for filming the scene, while his actions in seeking to record the aftermath of the collision were highly intrusive and morally repugnant. The filming was not illegal. Magistrate Metcalf's concerns were squarely on his mental health and substance abuse. Pusey's lawyer told the court he himself has concerns about his mental health. He is aware he needs to talk to his GP about a mental health plan. We don't know what the extent of his self-medication has been, but it wasn't enough to satisfy the magistrate's concerns. My view is that Mr Pusey poses an unacceptable risk of committing offences on bail and of endangering the safety and welfare of members of the public. Pusey had no supporters in court and appeared via video link. He avoided eye contact with the camera and didn't react or show any emotion when the decision was read out. It could be 2 years before Pusey stands trial. Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Queensland researchers are urgently trying to recruit patients who've recovered from COVID-19 for a potentially life-saving study. They hope a simple blood test could be the key to finding a treatment.
When Jaden Snowden came down with a headache and a runny nose a couple of months ago, COVID-19 was the last thing on his mind until...
A friend of mine told me that he had it, and I had been in contact with him a few times in the past weeks. Better get checked just in case.
Next thing, he was holed up in a hospital isolation ward.
The nurses were coming in big hazmat suits.
Turns out the 20-year-old had what those who've become critically ill with the virus lacked, the right T cells.
The T cells are a type of white blood cell that help us fight off infection.
A blood donation later, and Queensland researchers are tracking how Jaden's system generated the T cells needed to combat coronavirus.
To see whether we can use these responses in healthy people and use those T cells in something what we call adoptive T cell therapy to potentially transfer them into people who may be sick and can't respond.
T-cell therapy is QIMR's bread and butter. The Institute has devised similar treatments for cancer and organ transplant patients, triggering the body's own immune system to fight disease.
We can make these therapies from healthy people. So we might be able to use one person to make hundreds of therapies.
There's a huge global effort underway to come up with a vaccine, but it's still unclear as to how long that will take. The researchers here say they could have an immunotherapy ready by the end of the year. 50 people who've recovered from COVID-19 are being sought to take part in the trial by making a simple blood donation. For details, visit QIMR's website. Brendan Savage for 10 News First.
A Gold Coast company aiming for the stars has been given a strategic boost in their race to reach space. They've partnered with the nation's Defence Force to ensure Australia can protect itself on the ground and in Earth's orbit.
Starting from a humble small scale,
to striving to reach their full potential. Gilmore Space Technologies in Helensvale has been working for 7 years to develop an Australian-made hybrid rocket that can launch small satellites into low orbit at a low cost for everything from GPS technology to telecommunications.
The game has been changing. I think there's a lot more aggressive countries out there with anti-satellite technology, and I think the public doesn't realise how our way of life is affected by space.
To future-proof Australia's space assets, the Department of Defence has partnered with the Gold Coast Company. They'll work together to develop ways of launching satellites for communications and reconnaissance. The partnership could advance their work by at least 6 months.
We see some key areas of technology that they have that they can help us with, so we think this enables us to get to space faster and accelerate our growth.
Gilmore aims to launch a full test flight within 2 years. If successful, they could fire a full-scale commercial flight within a year after to ensure the nation can protect itself without outside help.
If Australia's got the ability to reconstitute these satellites, to send them back if they get destroyed and keep everything the way it was, that's a really big deal.
The deal is expected to be a small step on the path to 20,000 jobs in the space sector by 2030. Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
The Bureau of Meteorology has released its seasonal outlook, and it could be a wet winter for large parts of Australia. 10's weather expert Josh Holt joins us now. Josh, what does this mean for Queensland?
Well, Georgie, for those that have been suffering prolonged drought, it could be a very fruitful winter. This is the chance of exceeding the median rainfall during the winter months. And as you can see here with the blue shading, a 65% chance or greater for most of Queensland of exceeding the rainfall during that 3-month period, and an 80% chance or higher for areas of Western, Southern and Central Queensland. What's the main climate driver behind this? Well, what we're seeing is a warming of the Eastern Indian Ocean. Now, when you get warmer sea surface temperatures off the northwest to WA, you get more evaporation, more moisture in the atmosphere. Then that seeps down over the northwest of WA and links up with systems emerging from the Southern Ocean. They tap into that moisture and send it eastwards, spreading that rain across a large section of Australia. Now, in terms of the temperatures, as you would imagine, with increased cloud cover and rainfall, we could see a slightly cooler winter on the horizon for large parts of Australia and even through southern inland parts of Queensland. Now, there has been some showers that have been popping up on the radar through parts of southeast Queensland this afternoon. We've had 12 millimetres fall at Redland. Mount Cotton has picked up 10 millimetres and Bundamba has seen around about 5 millimetres into the gauge. A relatively heavy shower about to push through Brisbane, but more with the details coming up shortly.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Josh. Ahead, a national snapshot delivers a grim diagnosis for Australian men who contract COVID-19. Also, Donald Trump fires the latest shot in the presidential war of words with his top medico. And a French hero to Aussie diggers dies from coronavirus.
With so many deliciously easy recipes to try, you'll never get bored when there's pork on your fork.
When we can all get out of our own backyards, it's time to start enjoying this one. In a 10 special, we talk to the people and visit the places that remind us why we're so lucky to live in the lucky country. Join us for the Love Australia project, 7:30 Friday on 10.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause you're not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it. Clap, clap. Alright. So clap it back. Hey, hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
So be as responsibly with Sportsbet. We'll be watching.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of dinner with some of the key ingredients for Texan-style beef and black bean chili. Like Coles No Added Hormones Beef Chuck Casserole Steak, down to just $14 a kilo. Save $2. Coles Real Beef Stock 1 litre, $1.90 every day. And Edgell black beans 400 grams, down to just $1.50. Find this recipe and more at coles.com.au. Lower the cost of your dinner at Coles. Good things, great value.
Dear mind, you're hard at work all day. Remember to make time for you. Balance your commitments with quality me time. Enjoy every step. Connect or reconnect. And be good to yourself. Anytime, any place. Love from me.
Create a healthier relationship with your mind. Learn more at qld.gov.au/mental wellbeing. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane.
Outside, it's something to look at. But inside, it's a space to be. A space we fit our lives into. A space that brings us closer. That spans generations. Where we go to let go. In a Mazda, this space is 100 years in the making. And summed up in 2 words. Zum zum.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
This Saturday with Sportsbet, get the best payout across all 3 tabs with top-toed exotics. Nail a quinella, trifecta or even the quaddie and you'll get the biggest return. Top-toed exotics from Sportsbet.
Twist of all.
Katy Perry! Let's go!
7:30 tonight.
Australian men who contract coronavirus are twice as likely to end up fighting for their lives in intensive care than women. The frightening revelation has emerged from the first national snapshot of our sickest COVID-19 patients.
They're unforgettable images, patients fighting for life in overwhelmed intensive care units across the US and Europe. Australia's hospitals have been preparing for a similar influx of COVID-19 patients. Since mid-March, more than 100 people have been admitted to intensive care nationwide.
Those people are very sick and they need to stay in the ICU for quite a period of time, and that's important for healthcare services to know.
Now, for the first time, the information about those patients has been collated to provide a snapshot of care at 76 hospitals. Thanks to a collaboration between Australian intensive care specialists as well as Monash and Oxford universities. People over 60 make up at least 69% of admissions to ICU. 41% are aged between 70 and 79. Perhaps most startling is the gender imbalance. 67% of ICU patients are male versus just over 30% female. And it's unclear why.
Probably a number of factors that may contribute, one of which is the fact that men are overrepresented with chronic conditions first of all, so things like cardiovascular disease, heart disease, hypertension.
The planning and groundwork on the technical infrastructure for this research actually began about 5 years ago, when doctors and researchers became increasingly concerned that a respiratory illness could cause a pandemic. And the work is far from over.
So I guess a living, breathing project which continues to collect data even today.
Nicole Strawn for 10 News First.
The rift between Donald Trump and his most senior infectious disease expert is deepening. The US president today continued to call on state governors to move forward with reopening their schools and businesses. That's despite Dr. Anthony Fauci's warnings of serious consequences if it's done too soon.
I was surprised by his answer, actually, because, it's just, to me, it's not an acceptable answer. We're opening our country. People want it open.
Meanwhile, Trump's former presidential campaign chairman has been released from prison over coronavirus fears. Paul Manafort had been serving 7 years behind bars for charges related to the Russian election meddling investigation. Germany is set to begin reopening its borders this weekend with the aim of freeing up travel across Europe by mid-June. Chancellor Angela Merkel closed all German borders 2 months ago to limit the coronavirus outbreak. The European Union has also unveiled a range of measures to allow people to safely travel across the continent to revive its crippled tourism industry. Brazil has overtaken Germany and France to record the world's 6th highest number of known coronavirus cases. 189,000 people have tested positive, even with a much lower rate of testing than most developed countries. Despite the soaring numbers, Brazil's president has declared gyms and beauty salons open for business. One of Australia's best friends in France has died from coronavirus. Patrick Simon was the mayor of Villers-Bretonneux, which Anzac troops liberated from the Germans in World War I. He was passionate about promoting the Anzac legacy and was awarded an honorary Order of Australia in 2015.
He was a strong supporter and an outstanding voice for the establishment of the Sir John Monash Centre, and always provided very warm, incredibly friendly and hospitable welcome to any travelling Australians in his region.
Earlier this year, Simon helped raise $37,000 for Australian bushfire victims. He joins more than 27,000 people in France who've died from COVID-19. Stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, healthy, wealthy and wise, the new mission to debunk Dr. Google. And a new look Logan Library, how to book yourself a book the easy way.
Tonight, with a worrying rise in unemployment, how safe is your job from the COVID-19 crunch?
We meet the Auslan interpreters, making sure everyone stays safe and informed during the coronavirus crisis.
And we chat to Bernard Fanning about the highly anticipated Powderfinger reunion called One Night Lonely. Also happens to be the title of my memoir.
Oh. All that and more coming up at 6:30. We'll see you.
International megastar. She's been singing our theme tune for 12 years. It's Katy Perry.
Katy Perry rocks MasterChef. 7:30 tonight.
Introducing BP Rewards. Now you can earn points for every BP purchase.
BP Rewards.
Use BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards. BP Rewards.
Or you can choose to earn Qantas points.
Now that's what I call BP Rewards. Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. BP Rewards. Your rewards, your way.
Do it, baby. It's on, baby.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Rose Hill, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Woolworths online shopping is back for all customers. We have thousands of extra delivery and pickup windows now open to serve even more customers. Visit woolworths.com.au and start shopping today.
If you're a small business, you've probably got a lot more questions than answers right now, which is why there's never been a more important time to speak to a professional accountant. They're specifically trained to help with business planning and cash flow management strategies tailored to support your business through these challenging times. They can even lend a hand with applications for government support to make sure you get the help your business needs. For further support and assistance, contact a professional accountant today.
I love how matte surfaces in nature hold light, how they diffuse the light. Like Colorbond Steel Matte, they're strong, enduring, yet subtle in their beauty.
Join AHM Hospital and Extras Direct and you'll get 6 weeks free. Plus, we'll waive any 2 and 6 month waits on extras.
Yay!
Whether you're a single, a couple, or a family. It's that simple. That doesn't look very simple. Offer ends June 30. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. The more you spend on 60 months interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card. Shop for laptops, phones, TVs, fridges, washers, ovens, lounges, beds, flooring and so much more. Shop in our spacious stores or online. We're practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500 now at Harvey Norman. Hurry! Offer ends Tuesday.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get $4 odds for either Geetra or Santa and Elaine to win the Goodwood. PointsBet.
Meatballs meet streaky bacon. Meatballs and streaky bacon meet mozzarella. Meatballs, streaky bacon and mozzarella meet melt. Meet the meatball melt with streaky bacon. Now, meet mouth.
Guess who's back? Comedy legend Glenn Robbins joins the team on Have You Been Paying Attention? Monday after MasterChef.
Hello again as we wrap things up tonight. Still plenty of showers and storms around the place. Got some busy conditions too on the Riverside Expressway and the Captain Cook Bridge. The run outbound on the Western Freeway not doing too badly. Here's your Captain Cook Bridge run coming in towards the city. Not doing too badly at this stage of the afternoon. Good run too up the Gateway up through Nudgee onto the Bruce Highway looking fairly good. No dramas on Gympie Road up through Kedron. That's doing okay. And a nice little storm cloud at the moment sitting off Moreton Bay. We'll check the roads again for you tomorrow. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Australian Pork. Have a great night. See you then.
Tonight's top stories, political fists fly over the state government's bold bid to buy Virgin, but the Premier is standing firm, putting her money where her mouth is. A dark and dire day for the nation. Nearly 600,000 jobs lost in the corona pandemic, and we're being warned to brace for more bad times ahead. And Brisbane's new underground network, Cross River Rail, moves full steam ahead in the heart of the city. In a fight back against misinformation from Dr. Google, a new website is bringing fresh hope to lung cancer patients. It's no cure, but does provide accurate advice they'll want to hear.
Introducing a bunch of regular Aussies.
Okay, got it. Got it now.
Tripping up with the online tech.
Oh, whoops, I stopped.
But with a very special connection. They all have lung cancer.
But within a few months, it had metastasised to my brain and kidney and into my soft tissue.
Alison has never smoked and her situation would crumble many of us. But instead she's one of 16 members of Lung Cancer Search and Rescue, an online website populated by cancer patients for cancer patients.
You can hear the fear and the pain in their voice. To be able to provide them with something reliable, something sensible, something reasonable.
The Lung Cancer Foundation saw a desperate need for something other than Dr. Google.
They can hear hopeful and optimistic stories rather than it's a death sentence.
Alison still recalls her Dr. Google experience.
And it still brings up those emotions thinking about the numbers that I saw. They're distressing, very distressing to see that.
People with questions about Australia's biggest cancer killer can now access the Lung Cancer Search and Rescue site.
So what causes lung cancer?
What is targeted therapy?
And get answers, compassion and even hope. And one other message everyone is keen to emphasise. Keep your GP and or specialist in the loop, whether it's just a simple inquiry or a more worrying cancer concern.
And not let fear of COVID-19 or other factors stop them from seeing their doctors in time.
Tim Collins for 10 News First.
Australia's first drive-through library is set to resume operations to help keep people reading socially distanced. The public library at Logan Hyperdome will reopen on Saturday, giving bookworms a different kind of speed read.
People will be able to hand you the books, you'll be able to drive through, grab your books and go. You don't even need a car park. So it's a great service and it's great that it only exists in Logan City.
10 people at a time will still be allowed inside the library, but everyone's urged to choose their books in advance. Sport time now, Jono. There's still no firm plans on an AFL restart.
The goalposts keep getting shifted, Georgie. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Coming up, there's been plenty of problems, but could the Gold Coast hub be the answer for the AFL? Details are next. Also, 1 down, 1 to go. Brian Kelly confirms he's got the flu shot, leaving Bryce Cartwright the last man standing. And another round of four-wheel carnage in the Supercars E-Series.
deliciously easy recipes to try, you'll never get bored when there's pork on your fork.
Bernard Fanning on the Powderfinger reunion up next.
Follow the stories of these lovable pooches as they go from abandoned to adopted to adored. So, who's your good boy?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
The brand new series The Doghouse premieres Saturday on 10.
Hey mate, sign here.
Sign here. Fast track your shop with Repco Home Delivery.
Lendy is helping thousands of households save on average about $2,832 in interest over the next year on their home loans. That's millions in savings for Aussies when they need it most. How can Lendy help you save?
At Palm Lake Resort, Koroi Noosa, life can be whatever you want to make it. Fun, challenging, active, entertaining, creative, relaxed, social. And with a perfect lock and leave lifestyle, there's always time for a getaway. Luxury homes available right now. Take a virtual tour of our display homes on our website.
Palm Lake Resort. This is your time.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get $4 odds for either Gitra or Santa and Elaine to win the Goodwood. PointsBet.
Looking for an effective answer to wrinkles and dark spots? Try Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Regenerating Cream from Chemist Warehouse. Clinically proven to help smoothen fine lines and fade the look of dark spots. Pair together with Rapid Wrinkle Repair Retinol Oil for twice the wrinkle-fighting power. It works throughout the night to intensely nourish and replenish dry skin. Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Regenerating Cream is $24.49 at Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
Relax and entertain in style with our fresco doors from Doors Plus. Bring the outside inside with bifolds, stackers and sliders in natural timber or durable aluminium. Visit a showroom to see the range and book your free measure and quote. Doors Plus, no fuss.
Amy has always helped Australians get back on the road. But now, more than ever, it's vital those on the front line get to where they need to be. That's why we're now offering free roadside assist to all doctors, nurses, hospital staff and first responders Australia-wide until the end of the year. Amy and non-Amy customers. Here's to supporting the everyday heroes who are supporting the rest of us. To take advantage of this offer, go to amy.com.au.
Lucky you're with Amy.
To help you get the most from the post, we've chartered 8 extra freighter flights to help deliver the more than 2 million parcels we're processing every day. For more, visit Ozpost online, and on behalf of everyone at Australia Post, thank you for your patience.
Hey mate, sign here.
Sign here. Fast track your shop with Repco Home Delivery.
Biggest twist of all.
Katy Perry! Let's go!
7:30 tonight.
Tonight's Sport Report is brought to you by Repco. Get your order delivered to your door. Shop now at repco.com.au.
Good evening. Bryce Cartwright's the only Titan left standing against the flu shot policy after Brian Kelly rejoined his teammates today. It comes as Broncos coach Anthony Seibold slams suggestions Queensland clubs should accommodate anti-vaxxers by moving games south.
He got the jab, so Brian Kelly's free to play.
I just want to get back in the training with the boys, and rip it in,
And did so straight away, returning to the field for the first time in 8 days. But there was no sign of Bryce Cartwright, just a cryptic post from his partner on social media, hinting his teammates should strike to support him.
If the Chief Medical Officer in Queensland doesn't want us to allow players to participate if they're not vaccinated, we'll respect that. All those restrictions will be removed once the border restrictions are removed anyway.
6 other players in southern clubs are also without the flu shot, prompting concerns the NRL draw will change to accommodate them.
If we're going to cater for the minority, then we're kidding ourselves, really.
The Broncos coach comparing the flu shot debate to 2 of his other passions.
It's like when you go to the pub. You don't like paying $10 for a schooner, do you, when you go to the pub? But if you want company and you want connection with your mates and you want to put a bet on, and you want to listen to the music, you got to go and pay $10 at the pub. Otherwise, you can pay $2.50 for your super drives at home. If you want to play footy, you get the jab. If you don't want to play footy, stay at home.
The Melbourne Storm are back home at Amy Park, training there for the first time today, with the hope they'll also host games in Melbourne. The first 2 weeks of the draw will be confirmed tomorrow.
So the coaches and the players have got some certainty and take their time, and hopefully the whole draw will be done by the end of next week.
Kieran Foran is almost certain to play round 3. The Bulldogs 5/8 on the mend after a shoulder reconstruction in November.
We really started lifting a lot heavier weight through the gym, and I'm feeling very confident.
Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
League boss Peter V'landys has won his battle against club coaches to go back to 1 referee. Now he's on a war footing with the whistleblowers. Having convinced the coaches the 1 ref system will cut costs and make the product better, V'landys launched a stinging attack on the professional match officials' body. They represent the referees and are threatening legal action.
Totally ludicrous, and I don't think his confrontational and misleading approach is helping his association. We've done nothing wrong.
And I think it's way overdue. 1 referee is far more effective. I know in my day it worked very well, and I welcome that decision.
The referees claim that games being policed by only 1 official could be dangerous for players. Queensland looks set to come to the rescue of the AFL, with Brisbane and the Gold Coast a host to up to 4 interstate clubs. The premiers from both South and Western Australia confirm their sides won't be able to re-enter the state between games.
The West Australian Premier is taking parochialism to new levels.
It appears to me as the Victorian clubs aren't willing to leave their comfort zone and come over here and hub in Western Australia, yet they expect our teams to go over there. I mean, it's a little bit rich, and it seems to me they're a little bit pampered.
But he has helped the Eagles and Dockers with a return to train policy.
So we're going to permit the clubs to undertake full contact training from the 25th of May in Western Australia, as long as the facilities and arrangements are not open to and used by the general public.
The South Australian teams continued their testing regime today. Their new reality is a move interstate to a hub.
So we'll have to move interstate, yes, if the AFL look to move with their current timeline of what looks like a return to play in mid to late June.
We're really trying to get our head around the possibility or the reality that we're going to be moving interstate for a recommencement of the season, so we need to work through that. That's our priority.
Both South Australian clubs seem destined for the Sunshine State.
We've mentioned this to the AFL. Our preference is to be in Queensland, if anywhere.
And the Queensland Premier has put out the welcome mat.
Yep, we'd be very open to that, very open.
The Crows and the Power will now clarify with the government health authorities if they can get exemptions from training in groups of 10.
If there is a group that wants to ask for an exemption, we will consider it. But as you can imagine, there's no point having rules if there are hundreds and thousands of exemptions.
The hubs have been on, then off, and they're now firmly back on. Rob Waters for 10 News First.
F1 driver Lando Norris is the first overseas ring-in to win in the Supercars E-Series. Craig Lowndes will probably stick to the real thing after his introduction as a wild card. It was time to make a mess at the Circuit of Americas for the series, as the virtual racing provided some hilarious stacks. McLaren's Norris cruised to victory in race 2.
It was good. I had decent pace, I think, and it was a nice little win.
Shane Van Gisbergen and Antoine De Pasquale collided on the final lap of race 3, but the Kiwi made way to avoid a penalty. Van Gisbergen had won race 1 and is closing in on series leader Scott McLaughlin. If you can't get the bike to the track, bring the bike to the track back to you. That was the philosophy for pro mountain biker Matt Jones, who has spent the corona lockdown completing his ultimate backyard playground. It wasn't fun wheelbarrowing 20 tonnes of dirt around, but worth it when they got on two wheels. So for jumping in and getting their hands dirty, Matt and his mates can ride away with our play of the day. What a brilliant idea, Georgie.
I feel like you wheeling all that concrete on the weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jono. Stay with us. Josh has all the weather details after the break.
Kate Langbrook joins us as Italy lifts its lockdown. That's next.
International megastar. She's been singing our theme tune for 12 years. It's Katy Perry.
Katy Perry rocks MasterChef. 7:30 tonight.
At UE, we're all about how you use or don't use your car. So we're giving our clients and new clients temporary relief on their car insurance premiums if they're using their cars less right now. Go to UE.com.au. UE. You insured.
Do it, baby. It's on, baby.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Rose Hill, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
At Palm Lake Resort Toowoomba, luxury living has a new name. Indulge a little. Take a dip in the pool. Enjoy a game of tennis. Or lawn bowls with friends. With exclusive access to our world-class country club and leisure facilities, there's something for everyone. Designer homes available right now. Take a virtual tour of our display homes on our website.
Palm Lake Resort. This is your time.
This Saturday with Sportsbet, get the best payout across all three tabs with top-toed exotics. Nail a quinella, trifecta or even the quaddie and you'll get the biggest return. Top-toed exotics from Sportsbet.
The espresso capsule from Law, the aluminium capsule designed to fit your Nespresso machine. Discover Law capsules and be captivated by a gold standard espresso.
Do it, baby. It's on, baby.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Rose Hill, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Go ahead, give your taste buds a thrill and think beyond the flame and grill. Sausage bake, rolled, pan-fried or in a stew. You'll love all the things our sausages can do. The British Sausage Ham and Bacon Company. Australian made, the British way.
Come through. Bedroom, bathroom, fully automated Franklin outdoor blinds. Pool, cabana, Franklin aluminium privacy screens. No more nosy neighbours.
Want to add value to your home this summer? Frankly, only Franklin will do.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get $4 odds for either Gitra or Santa and Elaine to win the Goodwood. PointsBet.
It's a difficult time for Aussie families. We can't change what's happening, but we can bring you something fresh and tasty. And when we do, you'll know that your family is helping ours. So thank you, from our family to yours.
It's a fiery Friday with MasterChef's Jock Zonfrillo.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet like that dessert, mate. The dish is pretty as.
Political powerhouse Julie Bishop. And an inside look at the show that'll have dog lovers begging for more. Tomorrow on Studio 10.
It is weather time, Josh. A possible shower tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie, and even a weak thunderstorm for areas like Ipswich as we get through the last day of the working week, and we're almost there, people. But we'll check out the weather cam before we get to Friday's forecast. Today in the city we hit top temps of 26 degrees, to above average for this time of year after an overnight low of just 15. Now, right now, 19 degrees outside, humidity at 75%, and the wind's light at only 2 kilometres per hour. But diving into the satellite tonight, in and across your place, and as you can see here, a bit of cloud cover across southern areas of Australia associated with troughs and frontal systems. And then a little bit further north, we've also had some cloud cover push across areas of southeast Queensland. What we've had is an upper level trough, some colder air in the upper levels of the atmosphere moving across southern Queensland, and as a result, that has amplified the shower activity somewhat during this afternoon. So let's duck in with the southeast radar and take a closer look. Now, there have been some isolated heavy showers during the course of this afternoon. Redland has picked up 12 millimetres into the rain gauge, Mount Cotton picking up 10 and even Bundamba picking up 5 millimetres. We had a decent shower just push across areas of Brisbane and the southern suburbs within the last half hour, but that shower is starting to weaken off as it moves out and across Moreton Bay. Got a couple of other showers in the Jason Inland from the Gold Coast that are just moving across at the moment, so there are some isolated heavy pockets of falls as we get through this evening. Now, tomorrow we do have our area of high pressure maintaining its position across southeastern Australia, and a trough of low pressure will also stay through the inland parts of Queensland. Now, this area of high pressure is still directing some onshore winds along the Queensland coast, and as a result of that, we're going to see a few showers eventuate. Further to the west, we've got a cold front just clipping the southern coastline of WA, and we should see another cold morning unfold across southeastern Australia under the influence of that high. But closer to home, the showers certainly a feature once again across areas of the northeast tropical coast. Again, over the last 24 hours, we have seen those falls between 10 and 30 millimetres in some areas, and there's also the slight chance of a shower tomorrow along the exposed part of the southern coast, but we'll look at that in detail in just a moment. Moving interstate and Sydney, we're looking at top temperatures of 19 tomorrow, chance of a shower. Frosty start in Canberra, but a sunny afternoon will follow. Some early morning fog for Melbourne and 16 degrees. Hitting the same mark in Hobart, mostly sunny, and a nice day unfolding for Adelaide with 17. 24 the top for Perth, partly cloudy, and much the same for Darwin, hitting 34 degrees. Closer to the northeast coast, as you can see, we've got the chance of a shower tomorrow for Cairns, but it should be a dry day for Atherton and Townsville. 29 the top for Longreach and 25 for Roma. After a chilly start tomorrow morning, temperatures dipping down to around about 7 degrees. It should be a dry day for Rocky, Bundaberg, Maryborough and Gympie. Moving into the southeast, mostly sunny for Friday, just a slight chance of a shower along the coastal fringe. It should be essentially dry elsewhere. Overnight temperatures falling to between 8 and 13 degrees, with daytime temperatures reaching the low to mid-20s. We're going for 23 on the Golden Sunshine Coast, 24 at Logan and Caboolture, and 20 degrees at Toowoomba. Into the bays, we've got south to southeasterly winds through the early part of the afternoon at around about 20 knots. Now, the seas will be hovering around about the metre mark during the day, but it will start to approach 1.5 metres in the northern bay during the early evening. Sea surface temperatures still sitting around about that 24 degree mark. For Brisbane City, 24 the top for Friday afternoon, right on average for this time of year. Should be fine right through the morning, afternoon and evening if you are venturing outside, and staying that way across the two best days of the week. 24 Saturday, 25 on Sunday, and then those showers will start to develop from Monday onwards as winds turn more onshore along the east coast of Queensland. 25 the top for Ipswich tomorrow. A pretty good weekend on the way with those showers starting to eventuate over Monday, Tuesday next week. The extended forecast of the Golden Sunshine Coast coming up shortly.
The political fists are flying tonight over the state's bold bid to buy Virgin. The federal government is slamming the move as an economic disaster. The harsh reality of COVID-19, nearly 600,000 Australian jobs gone, and it's only set to get worse. And time runs out for one of Australia's most wanted men. Virgin Australia's future is driving an even deeper divide between the state and federal governments. The Premier's proposal to launch an investment bid for the embattled airline has been slammed as a massive mistake. John Paul Gonzo is at Virgin HQ. JP, what is the government planning to do?
Well, Georgie, the Treasurer says this isn't about the government trying to buy out Virgin Australia in its entirety. Instead, they want to secure a strategic stake, and that is because the base is here that employs thousands of Queenslanders, and the embattled airline supplies a number of key regional routes that really are a lifeblood for our tourism industry. $200 million is already on the table. The Queensland Investment Corporation has to work out how to best spend that money as part of this bid. We know there's around 20 other bidders circling who also want a share in Virgin. The Premier says we cannot afford to lose the airline, but it couldn't be a different story for the federal government. The Home Affairs Minister launched a blistering attack today, saying the Premier's plan is an economic disaster. National Affairs Editor.
Locked down but not unloved. Confirmation that numerous players are still jostling for the hand of Virgin Australia.
Virgin will keep flying and will fly into the future.
And looking to buy in the Queensland government.
So that may
form an equity stake, it may be a loan, it may be some sort of concessional arrangement, it may be some sort of other financial instrument.
With a tight state election coming, that triggered a coalition pile-on.
This is nothing more than a populist brain fart.
They can't even run trains. They can't run trains on time. How are they going to run an airline?
Peter Dutton, I thought you were talking about someone who was serious and could be taken credibly.
I cannot understand for the life of me how people don't want to back Queensland and back Queensland jobs.
On Twitter, the Queensland Treasurer advised Peter Dutton to stick to cruise ships, a reference to the Ruby Princess linked to more than 20 coronavirus deaths. The Queensland state plan matches that of federal Labor.
This is an ideal time, if anything. This is the bottom of the market, that's for sure.
The federal government has always wanted to stay out of Virgin.
The federal government's not in the business of owning an airline. We're interested in a market solution.
And that position appears vindicated, with Virgin's administrators saying there is real competitive tension as major players battle it out.
Our skies might be empty now, but we won't want for choice once those restrictions ease. The regional carrier Rex, which was saved from bankruptcy by federal government funds, now says it has a compelling case to open a full capital city service. It hopes to do so by March next year.
If we've got 3 commercially viable airlines flying domestic routes, so much the better.
The real horse race for Virgin begins tomorrow, when the early bids must be in. After that, it'll be all on to close a deal before the end of next month. Hugh Rimington for 10 News First.
The Prime Minister has described it as a tough day for the nation. More than 500,000 Australians have lost their jobs in 1 month alone. Our biggest jobless rate rise on record. Here's Network political editor Peter Van Onselen.
It was sobering news we know is only going to get worse.
This is a tough day for Australia, a very tough day. Almost 600,000 jobs has been lost. Every one of them devastating.
The unemployment rate has spiked by 1% in just the month of April.
Terribly shocking, although not unanticipated.
Young Australians were hit the hardest, with a rise of more than 2% and a drop in the participation rate bigger than any seen since it was started in 1978. 500,000 fewer Australians are even bothering to look for work. But the government says its JobKeeper package has kept a bad situation from being even worse.
6 million Australians have been supported at their worst moment.
Labor thinks more could have been done to save jobs.
Aren't more Australians out of work today because the Prime Minister deliberately excluded them from the JobKeeper wage subsidy?
With bad news like this, it's no wonder Scott Morrison didn't want Parliament to sit during the coronavirus crisis. But, relenting late this afternoon, more sitting weeks will be issued for the month of June, right at a time when the next round of unemployment numbers are made public.
Time has run out for one of Australia's most wanted men after 10 days on the run. Ricardo Barbaro was reportedly trying to flee to Queensland after his girlfriend was found murdered in a Melbourne apartment.
Ricardo Barbaro in handcuffs after 10 days on the run.
Are you a killer, Ricardo?
Wanted over the alleged murder of his girlfriend.
Did you kill Ellie, Ricardo?
Why didn't you hand yourself in, Ricardo? He fled from Melbourne, has a fixed address in Queensland, and police found him in Sydney. They raided a riverside apartment following a tip-off.
They were wearing all black. I think they had a rifle, had some night vision goggles, and yeah, they were just outside. It's crazy.
They found Barbaro in the penthouse suite. Nervous neighbours overheard their attempts to coax the 33-year-old out of hiding.
Ricardo, listen to what we're telling you. You won't be harmed. Just come out with your arms up in the air.
Barbaro was wanted in relation to the death of Ellie Price. The pair dated on and off since October last year. The 26-year-old mother's body was found in her South Melbourne apartment last Monday. Police believe she may have been dead for more than a week. Today, Barbaro was charged with an interstate warrant for murder. 4 Victorian detectives attended Sydney court for his extradition hearing. They're now escorting him back to Melbourne by road. Barbaro is due to arrive in Melbourne late this evening, where he'll be remanded in custody. He's expected to appear before the Melbourne Magistrates Court on Saturday.
Did you kill Ellie?
Natasha Exelby for 10 News First.
Police are hunting two masked men who smashed their way inside a Gold Coast supermarket. Security cameras caught the bandits unsuccessfully trying to break into an Upper Coomera service station around 1:30 a.m. Not deterred, they then used a hammer to break inside a nearby grocery store. They managed to grab a quantity of cigarettes before fleeing. Cross River Rail reached an important milestone today, with tunnelling commencing on the construction of the first new station. As our state political reporter Claire Barnes reports, it's helping to maintain jobs at a critical time.
New figures out today shed more light on the staggering impact of coronavirus on workers across the state. Just under 130,000 Queenslanders have been left without a job since the national shutdowns. The state's unemployment rate increased by just over 1% to 6.8. That's the second highest in the country.
It is a really sobering thought when you think about the number of people who currently in this state do not have jobs through no fault of their own.
Queensland has on average before the coronavirus had the worst and the highest unemployment rate, and there's little doubt that will continue, unfortunately.
Today the government was keen to talk up the next stage in the $5.4 billion Cross River Rail project, which is expected to create around 7,000 jobs. Tunnelling is now underway at the Roma Street site, which is one of 4 underground stations.
This will be the beginning of what will be 5.9 kilometres of underground rail stations and tunnelling for our city.
The Premier warned today the economy could worsen still, but that will all depend on how Queensland continues to control the virus.
Coming up, how Queensland's COVID patients could actually save lives in the future. Also, how much coffee is too much, why your caffeine fix might be doing you more harm than good. Plus, the mass breakout that got on the goat of bewildered residents. And in sport, is the NRL set for a battle with their referees?
Backlash after the Queensland government throws Virgin Airlines a lifeline. Plus, we catch up with Bernard Fanning and Kate Langbrook.
Red Bull gives you wings, now with the taste of watermelon. Also available in orange and tropical flavours.
The Australian government is working hard to keep businesses in business and Australians in jobs. That's why we've introduced the JobKeeper payment. If you're a business severely impacted by the coronavirus, you'll receive a fortnightly payment of $1,500 for each eligible employee to cover their wages. For employees, it will allow millions of Australians to keep their job, including those who've been stood down. To find out more, visit australia.gov.au, authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Quick, let us in!
What's the password?
Moonshine.
It has a number in it.
Moonshine 123.
And at least one capital letter.
When you need to snap out of it, have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
As a proud Australian company, Andersons are keeping it real with our first ever Australian-made sale, supporting our local manufacturers. For a limited time, you'll save 20% off the entire range of premium Australian-made floor coverings and window furnishings store-wide. We have stock ready for your home, rental property or business. So call Andersons today for a free, safe in-home design consultation. Now that's a real deal.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get $4 odds for either Gitra or Santa and Elaine to win the Goodwood. PointsBet.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Palmy on Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. The more you spend on 60 months interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card. Shop for laptops, phones, TVs, fridges, washers, ovens, lounges, beds, flooring and so much more. Shop in our spacious stores or online. We're practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500 now at Harvey Norman. Hurry! Offer ends Tuesday.
Go! At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of dinner with some of the key ingredients for Texan-style beef and black bean chilli. Like Coles No Added Hormones Beef Chuck Casserole Steak, down to just $14 a kilo. Save $2. Coles Real Beef Stock 1 litre, $1.90 every day. And Edgell Black Beans 400 grams, down to just $1.50. Find this recipe and more at coles.com.au. Lower the cost of your dinner at Coles. Good things, great value.
Red Bull gives you wings, now with the taste of watermelon. Also available in orange and tropical flavours.
When we can all get out of our own backyards, it's time to start enjoying this one. In a 10 special, we talk to the people and visit the places that remind us why we're so lucky to live in the lucky country. Join us for the Love Australia project, 7:30 Friday on 10.
The blood of Queenslanders who have recovered from COVID-19 could end up saving others who catch the virus. Researchers are trying to understand how the immune system fights the disease to develop immunotherapies. Brendan Savage has the details.
The researchers are seeking 50 adults from across the southeast who tested positive to the virus but subsequently recovered. The team wants to examine how their body's immune systems responded to COVID-19 with the end goal of developing an immunotherapy treatment.
This is an idea where we can make these therapies from healthy people. So we might be able to use one person to make hundreds of therapies.
The trial already has some participants who are happy to help the global effort to combat this virus.
The blood sample, all in all, getting from my house to the centre and back doing the donation took under an hour. So it's super easy to do, not really out of my way at all, but if that makes a significant difference, and that's obviously a really amazing thing that I encourage other people to do.
Down the track, the scientists also hope to take blood samples from seriously unwell COVID-19 patients in hospital and understand how their T cells were responding to the virus.
If whether we can use these responses in healthy people and use those T cells in something what we call adoptive T cell therapy to potentially transfer them into people who may be sick and can't respond.
Anyone interested in joining the trial is encouraged to visit the QIMR's website for more information.
Coffee addicts will tell you they need a shot of caffeine to get through the day, but research shows too many flat whites could create a bumpy road ahead for your health.
A latte a day doesn't keep the doctor away.
I'd probably have 2 coffees a day, maybe 3 at the tops. It's latte or cappuccino.
It's no secret that Australians love coffee, but your regular double shot might also be hitting your waistline. A new study by the University of South Australia has found excessive caffeine consumption increases the risk of bone and joint conditions like osteoarthritis and obesity.
I think it's not the coffee itself, but it's what we put in the coffee. So it's all the creams and syrups and sugars that come together with the coffee.
We've just done a 100 k's ride, so we're not worried about obesity.
Globally, the world consumes more than 3 billion cups of coffee every day. Experts recommend paying attention to how our bodies react to caffeine and adjust our intake accordingly.
If you start having adverse effects after having a cup of coffee or when you know your limits, just listen to your body. And it's never good to drink more than your body tells us.
If you're thinking about changing up your cappuccino order, black coffee is considered a healthier option.
A little bit of milk if you need on the side just to cut that acidity. Sometimes a lot of people do that. Even some steamed milk if you miss the frothiness on top.
If you're wondering how many cups of coffee a day is too many, previous research suggests 6 cups is starting to push the limit. Luckily for me, this is just latte number 5. Although for some, no coffee is no problem.
Green tea, good for you.
Taylor Ryan for 10 News First.
Now to the California neighbourhood overrun with goats, causing chaos for residents. No kidding, the herd was being used to clear a nearby hillside, but escaped through a broken fence and charged towards the streets below. They were eventually rounded up, but not before snatching what they could from several well-manicured gardens. Well, I don't think the owners would be too happy with their flowers being eaten. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect timing.
Well, Jono's back now with another look at sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. He won the battle to bring back the one referee system, but the whistleblowers could get revenge on a furious Peter V'landys. The refs are threatening legal action, claiming the change could be dangerous to players. Here's Emma Lawrence.
Well, the Referees Association are not happy with this decision to cut down to one ref, and they say they're taking it to the Fair Work Commission. Peter V'landys hit back this afternoon and he did not miss.
Totally ludicrous, and I don't think his confrontational and misleading approach is helping his association. We've done nothing wrong. All the 21 referees that are full-time will be kept.
Now, most coaches wanted to stick with 2 refs and don't like this new rule of 6 more tackles for a ruck infringement. But Peter V'landys didn't cave to the pressure because he says it's not a popularity contest.
My job is to have everyone on a level playing field. The coach's job is to get an edge and, use the rules to their advantage to get an edge. I've got to counteract that.
I would have liked to have, left alone from a point of view of that I really love the game the way it is, but, they've made a change now and we've got to go with it.
We can critique it and we can be negative about it, or we just crack on with it.
Of course, there is a financial benefit of cutting down to one ref, but V'landys says the decision was made in large part because that's what the fans want.
18,000 people responded, and I tried to read the survey. I got to 3,000 responses, and the 2 things that came out of it was one referee and the wrestle. You've got to listen to your customers. If you don't listen to your customers, you're going to lose them.
And some great news for rugby league fans. Tomorrow we should have the draw for the next 2 rounds of the season.
Emma Lawrence reporting there. Bryce Cartwright is attempting to seek a medical exemption after becoming the only Titan left standing against the flu shot policy. Brian Kelly rejoined his teammates today after getting his jab. It comes as Broncos coach Anthony Seibold slams suggestions Queensland clubs should accommodate anti-vaxxers by moving games south of the border.
If we're going to cater for the minority, then we're kidding ourselves, really. If we're having to go to Sydney because 7 players from a couple of different teams haven't got the jab, I think that'd be quite unfair.
Late today, Peter V'landys wouldn't rule out moving games, but said it's unlikely. Sun CEO Mark Evans is confident the AFL will go for a southeast Queensland hub concept. With Adelaide and Perth teams in need of a temporary new home, Metricon Stadium and the Gabba have been offered up as the competition grapples with ways to restart.
So the teams in those states will have an option, I think, to relocate out of their state for a short period of time. And southeast Queensland looks pretty inviting.
We've mentioned this to the AFL. Our preference is to be in Queensland, if anywhere.
After a week of delays, an announcement is expected from the AFL tomorrow. He's the Test vice-captain, but Travis Head admits he still feels his place in the Australian side is far from secure. A century in last year's Boxing Day Test helped his cause, but a rare full pre-season at home in South Australia might help cement his spot.
I'm excited, a bit nervous about the pre-season. I haven't done one in a few years, and looking back at the ones I've done, I'll be able to come out of them very, very fit and ready to go.
Head believes a deal between Cricket Australia and the Players Association will be reached. Some players still want the option to cancel their contracts if a loss of revenue leads to a significant drop in pay. Former world champion Evander Holyfield walked the walk. Now he's talking the talk. The real deal followed up yesterday's workout video with the clearest sign yet. The 57-year-old wants another crack at Mike Tyson.
Even though I'm 4 years older than him, it wouldn't be no problem.
The pair have fought twice before, including the infamous bout where Tyson bit a chunk out of Holyfield's ear. Not too sure if I'm appealed with two 50-plus-year-olds in the boxing ring.
Nothing wrong with their age, but no. Yes, no. Yes, thanks, Jono. Coming up, Josh has the weekend forecast.
International megastar. She's been singing our theme tune for 12 years. It's Katy Perry.
Me and my unborn child are ready to eat. You better make my baby kick.
Oh, this is gonna give you that hit.
Katy Perry rocks up. And she tastes my render.
Oh yeah, I can feel that.
Have I put in too much spice?
Who's trying to kill me? Literally.
Can we get a glass of water, please?
Katy Perry rocks MasterChef, 7:30 tonight.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause you're not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it. Clap, clap. Alright. So clap it back. Hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc. Going crazy stuck at home? Want help to cook up some fun? Why not get your Hungry Jack's flame-grilled favourites delivered now with Uber Eats or Menulog? With easier online ordering, the burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Is your home bursting at the seams? Time to call Storage King. With stalls everywhere, there's a location just around the corner. Temporary or permanent solutions with no lock-in contracts and contactless move-ins. Call now and let Storage King give you back some space.
Yes, of course. The Crown will attend. Rocket Man.
Who is it, honey? Everybody.
All the entertainment you love, all in one place. Yours.
Introducing Jumpstart by Light and Easy, the simple program that will help fast-track your weight loss success and improve your health.
Within those first couple of weeks, I noticed a difference within myself.
I found results straight away, and for me, Light and Easy has been life-changing.
Jumpstart combines the proven weight loss results of intermittent eating with Light and Easy's delicious, nutritious meal plans. Whether your goal is to jumpstart your weight loss or to simply eat well and improve your health, visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
At Nature's Own, we know that fatigue can be either physical or mental. Nature's Own sleep and energy range can help you improve the quality of your sleep or support energy production throughout your day. Nature's Own. Be body smart.
At Drake's, the health of our customers and team is paramount. That's why we've partnered with Academy Services to use NanoSen, a natural spray that kills 99.9% of pathogens. Drake's are committed to providing our customers with a safe shopping environment.
Introducing BP Rewards. Now you can earn points with every BP purchase.
BP Rewards.
Use BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards. BP Rewards.
Or you can choose to earn Qantas points.
Now that's what I call BP Rewards.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. BP Rewards. Your rewards, your way.
Up next, unemployment is rising at record speed and the PM says it will only get worse.
This is a tough day for Australia.
Backlash over the Queensland government's bid to buy struggling airline Virgin Australia. And baby, we've got a Powderfinger reunion on our mind. Bernard Fanning zooms in for a chat. The Project next.
Well, time now for a final weather check. Josh, how is the end of the week looking?
Well, on a Thursday, Georgie, it's close, but yet so far. We're almost at Friday, folks, but I must say the forecast looking very good, not only for tomorrow, but also through Saturday and Sunday. Looking at the synoptic chart, here's our high sitting over southeastern Australia, still directing those onshore winds through parts of the Queensland coast as we get through the next week. And as a result, those showers are set to increase as we get to Monday and Tuesday next week. So we'll be certainly keeping you up to date on that. But in the the meantime, it's relatively clear skies across southeast Queensland during Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Now for tomorrow, there is a slight chance of a shower for areas of the northeast tropical coast and for the exposed parts of the southern coast tomorrow, but I think you'll find most areas should be dry as we get through Friday. Staying dry as well across our inland centres of Mount Isa, Longreach and Charleville. Up to the north and Cairns, chance of a shower tomorrow, 28 degrees, 22 for Atherton and 29 for Townsville. Should be a dry day for Mackay, hitting 26, 27 the top for Rocky, and a beautiful day unfolding for Bundaberg and Gympie, with those temperatures hitting a very nice 25 degrees. Into the southeast, it will be mostly sunny. The slight chance of a shower along the coastal fringes mentioned, but it should be a dry day essentially for the Golden Sunshine Coast. Those overnight temperatures falling to between 8 and 13 degrees, with daytime temperatures reaching the low to mid-20s. So it could be a coolish start tomorrow morning for areas of Ipswich and also for the Darling Downs and Granite Belt. For Brisbane City, we're looking at a top of 24 degrees, right on average for this time of year for Friday, and as we get across Saturday and Sunday, not too much change. 24 the top Saturday, 25 Sunday, and there you go. Those winds tend more onshore Monday. As a result, showers are set to increase and also the cloud cover. Into Ipswich, we're looking at a beautiful day Friday, 25, bit of a carbon copy Saturday and Sunday, and the chance of showers increases slightly over Monday and Tuesday. Ipswich not so affected as areas of the coast, being a little bit inland, but as you can see here for the Gold Coast, it's looking quite wet as we venture into next week. A good day tomorrow, 23 Saturday with just a possible shower, and then the showers certainly increase from around about Monday onwards, up to a 90% chance, but there should be some dry breaks over Saturday and Sunday to get out and about. For the sunny coast, 23 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, the chance of a shower Saturday and Sunday, and like the Gold Coast, that chance does increase as we get to Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So, Georgie, the people that need a bit of a drink at the moment, it looks like early next week will be our best chance.
Yeah, we certainly need the rain. Thank you, Josh. That is 10 News First for now. For more details on tonight's stories, head to 10 Daily, but stay on 10. The project is next. We'll be back tomorrow at 5. See you then. Good night.
Tonight, unemployment is rising at record speed and the PM says it will only get worse.